beautiful morning to you. I hope you didn't catch me off guard. Definitely you did not. Welcome to TV Sapiencia, TV analysis, where we analyze topical issues for the day. My name is Choma Vic Chukwemeka, also known as Oma Sweetheart on radio, TV, and social media. I can't be alone on this program. I've got with me beautiful. She's beautiful in a different kind of way today.
Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, Auntie
Oma. I'm admiring you. You look good. I like your hair.
Thank you.
Everything about you.
You too.
Sparkling. So what's different about the weekend that you're sparkling like this?
It's God.
Oh God, the G factor.
You look good too.
Thank
I like
you.
the gown.
Oh my goodness, I'm blushing.
Let me just tell you something. Come close. After the program, you can give it to me.
We'll talk about that one later.
Aye.
So a lot of things happened in the week, like weekend. What was so... Adoma, it rained last night.
I don't know whether it was because of the rain that made these NEPA people not to give us light.
Are you still calling them NEPA?
Okay.
They're EEDC
Power
now.
holding. Okay, EEDC. Okay.
Here.
Here.
For us here in the southeast.
But it's very annoying.
Honestly.
Frustrating.
You know, there was a time I was complaining to you. I was telling you that we don't have light.
And I was like,
we have light though. I said, okay, no problem. You have light, no problem.
And suddenly, I started feeling the
It
heat.
is so horrible that you can't even plan for the family.
Do you know last week, around from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, sorry, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It was on Saturday we started having light. And suddenly, on Sunday, we didn't have light. On Monday, no light. And today, that is Tuesday, as I was leaving the house, there was no light. It is very frustrating.
The annoying part of this whole thing, like I said, is that you can't plan again. Like, as career women, right, you get to cook ahead. Like, you can actually make soup for the family that will last for
Are you
weeks.
talking about making soup that is... You're going to be very disappointed when you open your freezer.
And it makes you spend more.
Exactly.
Because you are now left with making soup almost like every 3 days.
Exactly.
Because you can't cook for long.
You can't store.
You cannot store things.
Because
and you
if you
can't
do,
even buy things, like for people who buy things in bulk and they want to store it, you can't even, like, it's so annoying. So annoying, but we just hope that things will get better. Anyways, we have a lot of newspapers this morning. We have the Vanguard, we have the Punch, we have the Guardian. Which other ones do we have?
The Sun, the Daily Trust, and the Daily Post.
All right, so we're starting immediately with the Vanguard newspaper right now as we review some of the headlines. Who else but Professor Benjamin Nwabweze by Eric Teniola? Pay rise for judicial officers. Naira up to 1,430 Naira per dollar in parallel markets. NGE expresses concern over growing insecurity. NSA launches global manhunt as Binance official flee custody. Still from the Vanguard newspaper, Okwama killings. Let displaced villagers return home. Niger Delta leaders beg Tinubu. Army hands over 131 Kuriga school children, teachers, to Kaduna government. Edo Guba, PDP needs unity to win Ibunedium. One feared dead as fire raises global supermarket. Man escapes lynching for allegedly stealing goods. Quite interesting. Man hacks elder brother to death over property. A truck crushes woman in Lagos. Court jails trader 6 months for conspiracy. One dies as rival court groups clash in Kwara. And finally, rapper Sean Diddy Combs' homes raided by federal authorities. That's all from Vanguard newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Vanguard newspaper, we move over to the Punch newspaper this morning. We have federal government threatens Gumi with arrest, condemns reckless statements. U.S. Supreme Court considers abortion pill restriction. Edo CJ drops 2 probes from Shaibu's impeachment panel. Togo lawmakers abduct new constitution. Enugu Borno records 7,496 tuberculosis case, 1,869 killed in Kwara. Kaduna hosts freed pupils, 28 kidnapped in fresh attack. EFCC watching you, Benue governor tells LG cheers. Why NLC opposed clocking machine for Borno workers? That's from the chairman. Iboho Gani Adams on war path over assassination allegation. Chieftain 6 unity in Edo PDP. Ondo Speaker, 15 lawmakers endorse Ayedetuwa's governor ambition. LP dares NLC insists on Wednesday convention. Federal government grains arrive, 8 states distribution continues. Ondo farmers protest alleged farmlands takeover by Chinese firm. Lagos urges school owners to maintain uniform calendar. Federal government hails foreign service officers for launching academy. KB to align Almajiri schools with formal education system. Nigerians 149 private varsities undersubscribed NUC. Adamawa pays 2.4 billion WAEC NECO fees for students. And lastly, we have lax trains, 340 healthcare workers in safe blood handling. And that's it for the Punch newspaper today.
All right, we'll move straight ahead to the Daily Post newspaper this morning. From a Daily Post newspaper, a downpour reportedly washes away Governor Soludo's newly constructed road. Wow. And I actually saw that video. I saw that video. Was it late last night? And I didn't think it was real. I was seeing it now. Honestly, I saw it on Twitter. I was like, you know, social media now, people can come up with anything. You could, I mean, a video from years back could just come up. So I didn't think it was real. Anyway, still from Daily Post, knocks on Tinubu government over Accountant General Finance Commissioner's UK workshop. And bandit with 3,000 followers on TikTok displays ransom money. I still saw that video yesterday. And I was wondering, I had all these thoughts before I slept last night. So you can imagine what my sleep was like.
You were seeing everything in your dream.
My goodness. I saw an alert about a bandit displaying the money collected. And I went straight to TikTok to check out it was actually true. Like, this young man on Twitter was displaying huge amount of money wrapped in bundles. Then he was speaking a particular language. I wouldn't want to call a particular tribe, but a particular language was being spoken. One of the major 3 languages in Nigeria was being spoken. I don't understand that language, so I can't say exactly what he was saying. But I believe that in the coming weeks, we are going to find out. I mean, this Nigeria, social media technology, we're definitely going to find out. And somebody somewhere will definitely interpret that language. Bandits. Yes, yes, yes.
Nigeria.
All right, so moving things along, still from the Daily Post newspaper this morning, KB Governor appoints new Auditor General for local government. And Niger Assembly expresses support for state agricultural program. Recruit more police security personnel to combat kidnapping, group tells federal government. Nigeria's Senate President Akpabio seeks IPU's voice in ending conflict in Gaza. I used Abido Shaker to bring down dollar, Prophet Udumeje says.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the last time, what did you say he was? He called him my friend, Abi.
He's your best friend now.
Interesting.
You're smiling because you finally accepted.
He's not my friend though.
Okay, he's our friend.
He's our friend. He's everybody's friend.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. In Daily Post, he showed his true color after we won election for him. Wike slams Fubara. Guba Primary, Ondo Assembly members drum up support for Ayedetuwa. Still from Daily Post, in sports, Euro 2024, Declan Rice vows to persuade Arsenal teammates to reconsider England's snub. EPL, Arsenal legend wants Bukayo Saka's career could be jeopardized without better referee protection. That's it from the Daily Post newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Daily Post, we move over to the Sun newspaper this morning. We have FEC approves 1.267 trillion for 28 roads, bridges. Gumi not above the law invited for questioning. NGE expresses concern over growing insecurity in Nigeria. Jonathan not patriotic, not clueless, ex-minister. Cross River governor vows to make state heaven for terrorism investment. APC must retain on those seats. Kanduje. Stop campaign. PDP tackles OT over repeal of governors, deputies, pension law. What Tinubu should do to reposition Nigeria, Adedrin, ex-Lagos PDP Gilbert candidate. Senate must lose public respect unless Medoki KB South. And lastly, we have 9 PSB mentors students on financial discipline, and that's it for the Sun newspaper today.
All right, we'll move right now to the Guardian newspaper. Vandalism of 117 power towers cost 12.8 billion naira, threatens $7 billion loan. Still from the Guardian newspaper this morning, FG invites Gumi for questioning on bandits' activities. Zungeru disaster, CLO asks federal government to pay 1.1 trillion naira judgment debt. Ben Carlo intensifies talks for Kanu's release. Trade unionists demand removal of Ajero Abure from LP. Ebonyi community seeks arrest of ex-council boss over killing of police inspector and 30 others. Nigeria unveils $200 million global donor initiative to boost SMEs. Diesel price, petrol subsidy may soar as crude hits $87. This should not happen. No. Soludo's many battles in Anambra ahead of 2025 re-election. Exploring legislative solution for BSc /HND disparity. Federal government to liberalize metering, allow consumers buy directly from approved vendors. Binance experts flay executives escape as federal government files tax evasion charges. That's it from the Guardian newspaper this morning.
All right, from the Guardian newspaper, we move over to Daily Trust newspaper. Terrorists flee as military raises hideouts in Borno. Police kill notorious cult leader in Rivers. Police probe killing of farmers in Nasarawa. 2 die, 1 injured as vehicle crashes into Ogun Bush. KB begins census of Islamia Aljumari School. And still moving on, we have how detained Binance executive escaped NSA. Kaduna school children, it is not important to if ransom was paid or not, Governor Sani. And lastly, we have 8 years of savings. I can't go to Haji, intending pilgrim laments. And that's it for the Daily Trust newspaper today.
All right. Lastly, from this day newspaper, Nigerian Army hands over rescued Kaduna school children to Governor Sani. Federal government, no ransom was paid for Kaduna school pupils' release. NSA office confirms escape of Binance executive Nadim Anjawala. DHQ releases pictures of freed Kaduna school children. After months of deadlock, UN Security Council demands Gaza ceasefire. A healthy Anambra building a model for national health care reform. The abducted children of Kuriga and other stories. Finally, Suleiman Al-Lede, the 5 decades jubilee of a golden man. Do we still have another paper?
No, we don't.
All right, that's it from the newspaper headlines this morning. Remember that you can actually get copies of these papers from the vendors nearest to you, and you can go online to keep, because these papers, they keep updating themselves. To make anyone answer for comments it believes to be provocative or reckless, as no one is above the law. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, said this while addressing journalists at the State House, Abuja, after the Federal Executive Council meeting. Days after terrorists kidnapped at least 287 pupils, although the governor yesterday corrected and said it wasn't 287 pupils, right? Okay. From Kuriga, Chikun local government area, Kaduna State, Islamic cleric Sheikh Ahmad Gumi had offered to dialogue with abductors. Gumi advised that to facilitate the release of the abducted children, the president should allow him to negotiate. The Islamic scholar warned against Tinubu repeating the mistake made by his immediate predecessor, Muhammad Buhari, who refused to negotiate with bandits. And a situation in Nigeria where someone, a citizen, just like every one of us, comes out to say, okay, something happens as huge as kidnapping, comes out to say, okay, allow me, let me go and negotiate with terrorists. What do we make of it? Nigeria as a country has all the security apparatus. The army is there, the military, which is the army, the civil defense, the navy, call them local vigilante, all of them, all these are working in tandem. They're all security forces working in tandem. And of course, the army is number one, whose duty is to protect the territorial integrity of the nation. Now, a citizen who is not even an army, who is not even in paramilitary, but a cleric, comes out and says he should be given the opportunity to negotiate with terrorists. Number one, all over the world, as far as security is concerned, you don't negotiate with terrorists. You don't negotiate with a thief. It's just like a thief coming into your house and you're like, okay, wait, somebody comes to you and tells you, wait, let me negotiate with the thieves. You don't negotiate with thieves. These are terrorists. You don't negotiate with them, right? Even the U.S.,
you know, this is
I believe one of the presidents of the U.S. has made this statement. You don't negotiate with terrorists, right? And somebody comes out and says, okay, don't make the mistake your predecessor made by not negotiating with terrorists. What are we talking about? I mean, what kind of country are we trying to make? Are we trying to show our military in the light that they don't know what they're doing? And remember, recall that the military has its formation. In the military, there are different people from different background, from different religion, from different ethnic background in Nigeria.
Exactly.
There are even military personnel who are from Kaduna. So if you're talking about, maybe you think these terrorists, maybe they are from the north, there are still military personnel from the north. Even if you wanted to advise the federal government, probably you should advise them, okay, why don't you take it this way, take it that way. But in a situation where you're fronting yourself, you're like, okay, federal government, come out. Let me be the one to go and negotiate with terrorists on your behalf. What does it make of the federal government? What does it make of the Nigerian military? What are the impact of that particular statement? What do you make out of it?
Omar, this is not the first time this man is speaking like this. And I do not know why the federal government they've not, gone ahead to arrest this particular individual. Because we have seen this particular Gumi dining and whining with these terrorists, and he said he knows where they are. Okay, so why did they ask us to to link our SIM to our NIN, to link our NIN to our SIM cards, so that if there's an insecurity happening somewhere, and they could track the person? And this particular person said that, okay, he's trying to tell the federal government that they do not know what they did by telling us to link our numbers to ANIN, because he knows where these terrorists, these bandits are. And the federal government are just leaving him to work freely. In fact, they're just leaving him to just breathe freely. It is not even acceptable. In a country that is well developed, this man should have been in jail, because what he is saying, it means that he is part of them.
He knows something.
He knows something that we don't know.
For him to say, okay, because in the essence of all he said is, federal government, come out.
Yes.
Military, come out.
Yes.
Police, come out. Everybody just go out. Just go out. Let it just be only me and the terrorists.
Yes.
It means you know something.
We don't know. Maybe he's the one that's been, maybe he can't, I don't know. He might be the one funding them.
We may never know.
We may never know. He might be the one.
You can decide to term it anything.
Exactly, because why is this individual still, he has the audacity, the effrontery to still stand up and still, this is not the first time. He said it during Buhari's regime. Now he's telling Tinubu that you're being so stubborn. Don't be so stubborn like your predecessor.
Who refused to.
We refuse to listen to me. Because why is this individual still walking around? This individual should be arrested. he should be detained and he should be asked some questions. What is it that you know that we don't know? Because he cannot tell us that you have been bringing this thing up and you're telling us that we should give you the go ahead or to go and negotiate with criminals and ask them, okay, well, how much do you people need? How much? Like it does it like you just say, it's just like a criminal will just barge into your house and he will ask you to bring every money you have. You now start asking,
and another person who is not even living in my house,
yes,
comes and tells me, okay, come out. Let me
ask.
You don't negotiate.
That means the person that came into the house is the person that sent the criminal. You people are working hand in hand. This man should actually be arrested. This threat that giving him is just an empty. They should go ahead and arrest him. He should shut up and stop making this kind of statements because it is actually reckless.
You need to see how you say he should shut up.
Exactly, because this is a reckless statement.
Honestly, but you're actually right. You're correct. Especially in a country where the constitution works. Like it's only in Nigeria that somebody will come and make such statements
and go away with it,
and you're still addressing the press on it. You can't make such a statement
and do that.
No, you can't.
Try it.
Who are you now?
Go there and say that you want to negotiate with criminals,
terrorists. You know, the United States of America does not negotiate with terrorists.
No,
they don't have discussion with terrorists. Because there was this story recently about, I think it was, I heard it, it was Joe Man. I heard it on Joe Man's program, one of his programs. He was talking about a particular young lady who is a UK citizen, okay? Somehow she got married to a terrorist, okay? And she gave birth for the terrorist. At the end of it all, she now wanted to denounce. Probably they are having issues and she no longer wants to be with the terrorists. She now wants to return to the UK government. And the UK government is saying, no way.
It's not possible.
We cannot accept you.
It's
Yes, you are a citizen, but you have been compromised because we don't know the next thing you're going to do, right? We don't know the next act. We don't know whether you were sent. We don't know what you're going to do again because you've been compromised. So you cannot, if you have something to say, you have a way of helping the federal government. Why don't you go to the federal government, give them the information, and allow the federal government,
you have those information about where
federal
those
government to do their job. Allow the military to do their job. You're not a military personnel. The last time I checked, I tried reading up on this man. He is a cleric. Like, he is a scholar, cleric, whichever one.
He's just a cleric.
And the last time I checked for the definition of cleric, a religious leader. A religious leader, you're not a military personnel. Allow the military to do their job. And meanwhile, still talking about this particular whole insecurity, it was said that the number of pupils that was released was 137. Now, Adoma, I need us to look at the socio-economic impact, the mental health. I looked at the live video yesterday when the governor was addressing the press. Number one, these children, they did not allow the press, the journalists to speak to them. So there was no account. They spent, according to reports, they spent 16 days in captivity. Of course, someone that spent 16 days in captivity should have some experience to share what happened, how it was for them, what really happened, what transpired. But the press were barred from talking to these children, number one. Number two, during the reception of these children, their parents were not there, right? The military handed over the school children, the 137 of them, handed them over to the state governor who held a reception for them. And after it, we were told that about 6 of them were receiving medical treatment in the military facility. They will be reconnected to their parents. That is all we know. There was no form of interrogation, not really interrogation, no form of interview, at least from the victims. They are the victims, right? There was no form of experience. You were supposed to share the experience, say what happened, how what happened, how the bandits came and took them, how they were kidnapped. They spent 16 days in captivity. Nobody heard anything.
And they were denied the right to, to air their view.
And even the press were denied the right to interview these children. like I said, when I was watching the video, I wasn't actually listening to what the governor was saying. I was looking at the countenance of the children, right? Somehow they were able to get new clothes for all of them because they were wearing uniforms of different colors, right? 137 is such a huge number.
Huge
okay?
number.
But I was looking at them. I was looking at some of them gloomy, some of them, indifferent, some of them, and imagine spending 16 days. That's 2 weeks and 2 days in captivity. No betting. The harsh the harsh weather situation.
No brushing of teeth.
No brushing of teeth is a luxury. We are talking about, these are young people who will be sleeping under the rain, under the sun, because there's no shelter there. And I was just, in my creative mind, I was just thinking, how 137, how would they sleep? Where would they sleep? In the midnight, what happens to them? These are children, they're still developing.
And girls were there.
Of course. These are children, forest. These are children, they're still developing, their minds are developing. What is the impact on their health? What is the impact on their mental health? What is the impact on their social health?
The trauma.
16 days, the trauma, how are they going to cope? How are they going to fit in? What did they hear? What were they told while they were there?
And, eventually, while they were there, they must have been threatened. When you get out of here, you should not say so thing. And you should behave in such a way. Because you cannot tell me they just came out of there and they just came out without no rules and regulations.
What were they indoctrinated? What were they told? We need to find out these things. There should be some kind of counseling session. There are 137 of them. There should be some kind of counseling sessions for all of them to find out, because for somebody to spend 16 days is not 16 hours. That means over that 16 days, they must have been hearing something. Their mindset, they must have been indoctrinated. Their innocence would have been taken away from them. There should be a proper counseling session.
16 days is not 16 hours.
And this idea of attacking schools. The last time on the program, we were talking about Safe School Initiative. The federal government, all the state governments should take it seriously, protecting schools, because kidnapping children, teenagers, their minds are still growing. They're still developing. You're robbing off the innocence from them. When a teenager is kidnapped, it's more like raping a teenager. When a teenager is raped, when a young person is raped, you have altered the growth process. The person is no longer growing.
In fact, they suffer it all through their life.
All through their life, the trauma, everything they suffer, and they no longer trust people because everybody they see is a suspect.
Exactly.
The only time that person recovers is when the person goes through serious counseling session that lasts for not just for weeks, but for months, so that the person can actually come to see human beings for what they are.
Most of them don't even recover after the counseling, because that thing it's just like a lifetime trauma. And these kids are being in danger to experience this at their tender age. This is really bad, and this is really sad. When we're sitting down here talking about this, we will not really feel it until it happens to you. Imagine waking up and you're just thinking about your child. Your child is being captured somewhere. You don't even have the appetite to eat. You cannot even think straight. The only thing you're thinking about is how to get your child out, how to hold your own child. God, Oma, it breaks my heart.
The thing is, and there are lots of conspiracy theories, especially surrounding this latest kidnapping saga, right? And of course, in Kaduna State, there are fresh kidnaps. 28 were kidnapped recently, right? We are still up to hear about that one. But this recent, I think I once shared a story with you of a friend of mine who shared that her son was kidnapped, right? But he did not sleep there, because somehow he was able to find his way out of that place. But the after effect, she said that this boy slept for 2 days. he did not wake up. Like he was, that sometimes she would go and push him to ensure that he's alive. The trauma. That it was after 1 week that he started talking. Now, this young boy is 16 thereabouts. He entered one chance. The mom sent him to go and buy something, right? He entered one chance. She gave him ATM card. He entered one chance. And the one chance people, the boys, whichever people, the thieves, the thieves, yes. I wanted to call them bandits. The thieves, that she told him to withdraw a particular amount of money using ATM. But she was with her phone. She kept getting alerts. That was when she knew there was trouble. She started praying. According to her, she started praying. Now, this boy, where he found himself, I think he found himself around, is he Obosi? From Onitsha here, he found himself in Obosi. With all the incident, with everything that happened, when he now finally came back, this thing happened within 24 hours. When he finally came back, it took him 1 week to start talking as a result of a trauma. Now, this is somebody that entered one chance. Now, imagine people that were kidnapped and they stayed in the kidnappers' den for 16 cool days.
Let's not forget the fact that a lot of people are now using this because there are lots of news about kidnapping going on in Nigeria. And some persons are now taking advantage of it.
Obviously.
You've heard news of people trying to kidnap themselves. Even a lady that kidnapped herself and asked the husband for ransom. And she was in her neighbor's house. In her neighbor's house. When the ransom was paid, she just went back to her house from the neighbor's house. It is really bad stats.
I think that's a topic for another day. The topic for another day. Like, we're going to dissect that topic for another day. But anyways, moving things along, I mean, the federal government needs to do something, not just the federal government, even the state government as well. Because if it's happening to a particular, it's happening in Kaduna today, it could spread. Insecurity spreads. And recently, there's been a lot of insecurity around the country. Just yesterday on the news, it was reported that some policemen were ambushed and killed, right? In Delta State, Sam Delta State and Imo State as well, okay? In a situation where the people that are supposed to be protecting us, we are now the one. We are still trying to recover from the Okwama incidents that happened in Delta State. The same Delta State, it was reported that some policemen were ambushed and killed over the week.
Delta State they have now had this huge amount of insecurity going on.
Like I said, once it starts somewhere in Nigeria, it spreads. So the federal government, the state government should wake up to the responsibility, especially that of insecurity. Don't say it's happening in Kaduna, or it's happening in Abuja, or it's happening in so place. It's Delta, Imo. Solomon Arase, who is the PSC, the former IGP, was actually talking about it yesterday, and he said it's a no-no. Like, it's a no-no. Not just about him saying it's a no-no. These are the people that are supposed to be defending us, protecting us. We are now the individual citizens turning against them. That's wrong.
Very wrong.
Okay, away from insecurity, moving up, now we move to health. Two medical doctors, Michael Atiba and Ubeye Michael, were on Monday arraigned before the Lagos State High Court in Ikeja over the alleged involuntary manslaughter of a patient, Ejiro Ugorobi. Atiba, a doctor at the Wagada Hospital, and Michael, a consultant with the National Orthopedic Hospital, are facing a charge of involuntary manslaughter preferred against them by the Lagos State government. The State Prosecution Counsel, A.O. Aziz, told the court that the offense happened on October 21, 2023. He said the incident took place at about 12 p.m. at number 20 Michael Adekoya Street, Ilupeju area of the state. He told the court that they unlawfully caused the death of one Ejiro Ugorobi by neglecting the application of anesthetics before surgery.
Should we call this carelessness?
Adoma. This is carelessness in the highest order. You know, when I read through this, I said, my goodness, how can you
or is
neglect
there any other way to replace carelessness?
Carelessness, irresponsibility. And this, you know, some of the challenges that we talk about in Nigeria, it's interconnected. This connects with our education system. Who trained these doctors?
Exactly.
Which were they trained? Because it matters where you send your child to. And as a young person, you're in school, Don't think that you're in school to
impress your parents.
Impress your parents.
Or just for the grades, just to pass exams.
Especially when it comes to medical field. Even though I understand that there could be mistakes, but there are some mistakes that are not pardonable. How can you not administer anesthetics before surgery? What were you thinking? Before surgery and after surgery, what were you thinking? Like you're going to cut someone open without some form of anesthetics? Like you're going to cut someone open without ensuring that the person, like, you know, there's been a lot of progress in medicine, right? Probably another day we're going to do this. We will have someone who is in the medical field to be here to explain these things from the perspective of a professional. There's been a lot of progress in the medical field. Before you, even as a pregnant woman, before you go through any CS, before you go through any surgery,
there are procedures.
You must.
You don't just go into.
How can you just cut someone open? Is when someone pinches you with a pin, you know how
you feel it immediately.
You know how painful it is. Now imagine cutting someone open without any form of anesthetics.
That was why I said, is there any other word to, you know, to replace
irresponsibility?
So another word that is stronger, because this is really bad. We're talking about somebody's life, and you know, these doctors, you know, this is why it's being said that you don't just go to school because you want to go to school. Maybe you just want to impress your parents. And most persons, when they go to school, they will tell you school is a scam because you don't want to concentrate and read your books. Yes, there are mistakes. What about those doctors that used to, you know, forget some surgical
equipment in someone's belly? You know, some doctors, they are performing an operation, they cut what they are not supposed to cut, you know, and you see somebody suffering. People have died as a result of mistake. Adoma, do you know, most of the deaths in Nigeria, if, like, these family members, they took up this case, they can't take it. Like, they can't take it, right? Imagine a situation where somebody loses a family member and decides to sue the hospital. Let me tell you, Adoma, some of these irresponsible human beings who are in the medical field that should not be there, they would have left the medical field.
You know, I've seen a case of someone that came out and said that he's been having this pain in his heart. And every time he will go for scan, he will go for what they call this for the heart. He will go. There's this scan.
ECG.
Not ECG. There's this other scan they do for hearts. I'm trying to remember it. When he goes for that particular scan, he will notice that the doctor will tell him that there is nothing in the heart. So when he now did that, he did that like over like more than 2 years, until he now went outside the country. He now conducted that particular scan he's been going for in Nigeria, and they found out that he had a heart surgery before.
That's cardiac CT scan.
Yes, exactly. They now found out that they left a towel in his heart. Yes, they left a towel, and he's been having heart pain. Like, his heart has been paining him.
But that person must be miraculous. So they left a towel in his...
They left a towel.
And he's still alive?
Yes. They left a towel in his heart. As a matter of fact, this thing was happening to my brother's close friend.
Wow.
He's been going for scan, there was nothing he did not do until he left Nigeria and went to India. And they scanned him. They conducted that particular scan he's been doing in Nigeria. That was when they found out that they forgot a towel in his heart.
So sad. So sad. And we keep hearing these stories, you know, like we will say, all these things are interconnected.
Exactly.
Because if the government does not provide the right environment for people to go to school, for people to study, for people to learn, for lecturers to teach well, for everything to happen, but even at that, Adoma, even at that, as citizens, we need to take responsibility.
Exactly.
Like, you're a doctor, you're operating on someone, and you don't know there are basic things you should do. These are things that it matters the school you go to. Exactly. And yes, school is not a scam.
It's not a scam.
It can never be a scam.
It can never be a scam.
Education is not a scam. Okay, now imagine these two doctors. They are now, hopefully, hopefully, the law will take its course, right? And we'll know what actually happened, right?
Because this is more than carelessness.
For people that are saying that school is a scam, these two doctors right now, they will keep going to court. The time that they are supposed to be in the hospital doing their work, that's if they know the work they are doing. All right?
Obviously.
Their life will be disrupted. The money they are going to spend. So for anybody who thinks school is a scam, try ignorance. You see how expensive ignorance is.
I'm telling you.
I keep saying it, education is the best thing
very important.
The best decision you can take for yourself, because it keeps you away from a lot of challenges.
This is why I'm always mad when the federal government, when our leaders, instead of them to invest in education, they're sharing the money, they're using it for their own personal use, and it really baffles me. Because this is what we are meant to be, to be seeing. The federal government should be investing more on education.
Still speaking about health, just a few days ago, the world celebrated World Tuberculosis Day, right? And the Kwara State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Amina El Imam, said tuberculosis claimed 1,869 lives, that's in Kwara, according to the statistics, in Nigeria, 2023, tuberculosis claimed over 300,000 lives. And Nigeria ranks number 6 in the World Index of Prevention for Tuberculosis. That means there's a lot to be done. There's a lot to be done. The gap is huge. Huge. According to the statistics, Nigeria needs $300 million, right, to bridge the gap of ensuring that tuberculosis is flushed out of the country. But the question is, where would this money come from? Is it with the inflation, with the Naira crunch? But whichever one, there are immunization, right? People are always advised to go for immunization, especially when, because there are immunization against tuberculosis, right? But when somebody starts coughing, when those signs and symptoms comes, and there's this advert running currently on Radio Sapiencia, ban TB, ban tuberculosis. When I heard that advert, I knew there was something up, because whenever there is a particular disease that is ravaging the community, and because of sensitization, some of these world organizations, some of these organizations that are into health, they try to sensitize the public, right? And tuberculosis, it is a huge deal in Nigeria right now that everybody needs to work towards it. Of course, there are centers where people can go to. If you're coughing and you cannot understand the cough, according to that particular advert, if you cough for a period of, if the cough lasts for a period of time, maybe 3 days to 1 week, go and check it out. Go for tests to find out if that particular cough is tuberculosis, so you'll be treated. And there are centers. It's not a death sentence. You want to say something?
You said something and I smiled. You said, where would the money come from? I just remembered we've saved more than 1 trillion naira in fuel subsidy.
Are you still hearing about that? When was the last time you heard about that?
I don't want. I want to believe that we've saved that. We've saved more than 1 trillion naira. So the money that we've saved should actually go to health sector, right? Some of the money should go to health sector. So this is where the money is coming from. I just answered your question.
But this thing is not funny.
It's not funny.
After they said we saved 1 trillion naira, when was the last time you heard about that? Because it's supposed to be every month now, right? It's supposed to be every month.
Yeah.
But speaking about saving and speaking about making life easier, some portions of the 42,000 metric tons of assorted grains provided by the federal government to help cushion food crisis in Nigeria have started arriving some states. Adoma, please, do you see any grain
I did
arrive?
not see anything.
Maybe it will still arrive, because they said
it will still arrive.
They said it. They confirmed, the officials of Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security confirmed yesterday, Monday, that the grains arrived in Kano, Kwara, Kogi, Ebonyi, Adamawa, Kebbi, Sokoto, Taraba, among others, right? And I'm actually looking forward to, I have a lot of questions when it comes to these kind of things, right? Adoma, these things are meant for all Nigerians, not the poorest of the poor, right? Because the other time they talked about poverty alleviation, they talked about the poorest of the poor. When they wanted to give, was it 8,000 or 10,000?
8,000.
They said they are giving it to the poorest of the poor. what happens to all of us, right?
Are you poor?
No.
Are you poorest?
No. We are not poorest of the poor now. Are we not in the same Nigeria?
Maybe we are not.
Okay. Then, the grains. The federal government will be sharing grains, right? To a lot of according to what they've said, it will get to all the states. What are the indices for sharing these grains? Number one. Number two, who will get these grains? Number three, these people getting these grains, where are they coming from? Number five, what is the structure to ensure, because these grains are meant for everybody, it's no longer the poorest of the poor.
Yes.
What are the indices to ensure, what are the structures put in place to ensure that these grains get to everyone? Let it not be like the COVID-19 palliative, which we are stuck. And I told you that recently, I shared it with you, that somebody brought grains, maize. Immediately I cited that maize. I knew this was palliative.
Let me tell you something, Oma. All these things we are talking about, it is not going to get to us.
Who will it get to?
If they're going to still stack it the way they did it COVID-19. So, you know, at times I feel like, okay, maybe this person, I want to just like, you know, console myself and tell myself, maybe they just want to share these things. But the thing is, those people they distribute it to distribute it to their own states, they're just so lazy and adamant to know that these things are meant to be shared. Or maybe they don't, in fact, I don't know. The thing is that these things might not, in fact, it will not get to you. The only time it will get to you is when they feel like these things are already decaying. They will not start looking for a way to distribute it, or maybe they sell it. Because these things are not going to, it is not going to get to us.
Whew, it's not funny. And in this story, you find out that they said they don't want to make it open yet because people
are they hiding?
Considering the fact that there has been a lot of stampede. The other time, was it not the customs that were selling rice and people died?
Like I said.
On Saturday, Adoma, Nasarawa State University was sharing rice. I was talking about it on Campus Network. I was so angry when I was talking about it because I saw videos of there was a stampede and over 2 people died. 2 students died. Over 20 were hospitalized. Then there was this other video I saw trending about 2 students were dragging 5 kg bag of rice. Adoma, 5 kg, how small it is. 2 students were dragging it to show you how bad it has become for us in this country.
To be a well-developed and organized country, to distribute this thing, you will see that it's going to be very easy, because they will have some persons that will do it in a way that nobody is going to be injured. But you see,
everybody will get it in a
peaceful way,
because this is meant for citizens.
Yes,
it's not about whether you're poor or whether you're rich, but as a rich person, as an average person, you can decide, okay, I can afford it.
Yes, let
me allow other people.
Imagine, let's talk about Anambra State now. Imagine assigning one person to different persons, not just one person, different persons. Okay, this person is going to share to media houses. This person is going to share to schools. This person is going to share to churches. But imagine these things are being done like this. Where will be the stampede coming from?
You just said media houses.
No, I'm just...
And I smiled. Oh my goodness. Adoma, let's go. We've exhausted our time. We just keep hoping that these things, especially this grain, 42 metric tons. It's 42,000.
Not just 42.
42,000 metric tons. That means it's in the quantity is so much. That means it could actually get to it's meant for Nigerians, for citizens, not just for one person.
Not just for
please,
one person.
If you're part of these people that have been saddled with the responsibility of sharing, please, we are begging you, ensure that it gets to every Nigerian, right? And the process of sharing, there should not be any form of stampede. People should not lose their lives because they are coming to grab 5 kg or 10 kg of rice. If you hear all that happened with the COVID-19 palliatives, it's not what we're going to talk about, because we're not going to, in fact, it's a whole show. Any day we decide to analyze what happened with COVID-19 palliative.
It's just going to be done differently and alone.
Anyways, we keep hoping that as citizens, we are going to be more responsible with the things we do, and it will help us to take the right kind of decisions. It is a new day, and a great day. Do have a great time out. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Choma Vicchukwameka, also known as Oma Sweetheart on radio, TV, and social media. My name is
Adoma Izokeke. Thanks for watching, and always be hopeful, because this is Nigeria. We keep hoping for the best. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.